So, mastering marketing measurement, getting started, the first one in the series. And if you don't know who I am, I'm a fractional CMO working with Acorn Studio Marketing and Co., as well as on some other teams, which is exciting. I have been an entrepreneur since the age of 19, a few years, and worked across corporate sales, agency sales, PR, business planning, all of that great stuff. And now I get to help other entrepreneurs and business owners build their business. And if you want, that is my email if you need to connect with me. And please do follow and connect with me on LinkedIn. This is part of the 7-step program, which we are going to talk about in the future. But I do want to let you know that these are the 7 steps to success. If you want to learn more, there is a blog currently free on our website. Please do check it out. And there's a lot of other courses and stuff that will come out of this because over the years of doing marketing and doing business planning, I know that if you follow these 7 steps and it's not linear, you will have success. And it's simple, but it's definitely not easy. So understanding where they fall and how they work within your business is really important. And we're going to pull out different sections of that. For today, it's all about tracking performance. And as much as it's at the end of the 7 steps, it looks like it's at the end. We actually have to think about it at the beginning during the business planning process. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that and why. So this is part of the course. Why tracking metrics matter is really the focus of the introduction. So we're going to talk a little bit about the intro and the guide and template that's going to be available and why tracking your marketing performance actually matters and why you need to do it, how to put together a measurement plan, steps and success tips, really around that planning piece. And then I'm going to introduce the guide and template. In the future, we'll go in the next one into more details, but you'll actually get to see and get that guide and template. And then we're going to call it up and do a summary and next step. And for those who are on our live call, we are going to have a discussion with some questions at the end. So here it is. If you do not have it, it is available on our website. $27 currently is what it is, but just know that the cost is there only for those who are not in the full membership. If you are a full member, it is free and it is there right now, and you can jump in and grab it, or the QR code if you want to go to the paid plates. But do check in on your portal and give it a download. Measuring marketing success. What does it mean to track marketing performance? While tracking marketing performance metrics means systematically measuring and analyzing data related to marketing activities to assess their effectiveness in achieving business goals. Really understand this is the why we do it. This is the what it is. Why we do it is the process helps to evaluate the impact of what we're doing, right? Those key activities. And sometimes it's campaign, sometimes it's paid, sometimes it's organic, but we need to know what's working and what's not working, and we have to do it in a systematized way. So it will help you optimize your strategies when you're doing your business planning, your marketing strategy, and ensure you get that return on investment where marketing can get down that rabbit hole of a big budget. And unless you know what's working and it's fast paced, you need to actually have a plan. You need to have those metrics to guide you. What are the challenges? I am very much like many of you other entrepreneurs. It's hard to find the time, right? It's time, and then how do we know even where to start? So one of the key things that challenges us is what are the right metrics? There are so many metrics out there, but what are the right ones that are for your business at this time and what you're doing? And it's difficult to select them, especially if you're not a marketing person. And you have to take a step back, analyze your business goals, understand your marketing strategy, and then figure out what those key metrics are. And it's difficult to know that. Sometimes data overload, number two. So many metrics. I mean, oh my goodness, there are platforms out there. There's metrics for this, there's metrics for that. There's high level metrics, then there's conversion metrics, there's all the way through the funnel, and it can bombard you. So not only is it overload, it's understanding what those metrics mean. So that's another challenge. Integration of tools and systems. Oh my goodness, where do you go to find the information, right? In the old days, it was very simple. We'd have a few tools and we'd go in and a few metrics and things happen slowly. Now there is a tool for this and a tool for that, and everything costs money. So you definitely do want to do that. And then how do you want to optimize your time? Do they actually integrate? So if I'm going to invest in this tool, is it going to integrate with the tool I already have? And sometimes that information can be overwhelming. Attribution of results. Oh my goodness, this is a big one. It's like everyone wants to know how you found your business. Why did you purchase? How did you get here? And there are so many touch points in marketing before someone actually finds you. Is it the first time they saw your ad on Facebook? Is it the third time? And then we have things that are challenged, like data sharing. If people opt out of data sharing, then all of a sudden, I don't know what you did over here and how you got here. So there's a lot of murkiness around what actually attributed to the results that you got. Number 5 is limited resources, and we all struggle with that. It's not just money, it's time, right? How do we actually go in and do it, find all the data, put it together, and then analyze it, and then implement what you learned? Limited resources is a really big one. The dynamic marketing environment, number 6. Ooh, it's changing, and it's changing at such a rapid pace. You could invest in a tool that might not be there anymore. Or what if that tool is changing? All of a sudden, these algorithms change that are part of it. Or there's rules around privacy and data sharing that changes, and just how people are using technology. So this constant changing can get frustrating, and we just sometimes just go, oh, I just can't do it anymore. So another big challenge. 7, qualitative versus quantitative data. Is this actually the real data that I'm getting? Is it quality? Do I just, and then there's a lot of it. Is it the right? It's how do we pick quality over quantity and quantitative over qualitative? Like it's a very complex world. And we struggle with this, right? Like what's again attributing to the success of your marketing? Number 8 is setting realistic benchmarks. How do we even know if we're successful? Especially if you're just getting started and you have none of your own historical data, how do we know? There are benchmarks out there, don't get me wrong, with industry expectations, but they're pretty general and we're all quite unique. And there's ways to do that. You create benchmarks, and sometimes marketing people that will come in and support you with this can understand what that is. But at the end of the day, realistic benchmarks, it takes time to learn that, and then there's a starting point, but not knowing where that starting point and what a benchmark for success is can be a challenge to even why to keep collecting your data and going through it, because it takes time, right? The whole idea is that it's watching the trends and the patterns, so you have to stick to it even if you don't know exactly what the benchmarks are. But for sure, it's a challenge, right? This is why a lot of us struggle with metrics planning. So, how can we be successful in our plan? Well, measuring the right metrics. Well, I just told you it's hard to know what the right metrics are, right? But there are right metrics, and understanding the funnel, understanding what you're doing. Hopefully, this course will help you identify those and we'll work through them. But sometimes you may need to have some marketing support come in. But measuring the right metrics really means what are you going to do in marketing to support your business goals, right? You need to have alignment, know why you're doing it in the first place, figure those KPIs, those key performance indicators that are going to help you move the needle towards your business goals. Those are going to be the right metrics. Use technologies, create a dashboard. We're going to give you a template so you can have a dashboard. At the very least, use the spreadsheet, which is what this is. There are tools out there that do really fancy dashboards, but quite often they're limited. So create your own dashboard, or you might have multiple ones. It's not perfect, but somehow have a central place where you can track all your metrics. Beyond the numbers, analyze the why. Oh, this is huge. Why are you doing this in the first place? Why are the metrics you're doing are you measuring these metrics, and understand what they mean to your business, because then you can start implementing it. So one of the first things to support the why is to analyze your customer journey. If you haven't had a chance to do that, I really do encourage you. We do have a customer journey mapping resource if you need some help with that. So analyze what your customers are doing and what are the metrics that are showing that they're moving where they're supposed to and doing what you want them to do, supposed to, doing what you want them to do. And then do track the long-term trends, because it's that analysis that's going to give you keys to making those data-driven decisions. And understand it's a do, learn, and adapt. Just keep doing it, learn from it, adapting it. It won't be perfect. I don't know how many times, and in this dashboard spreadsheet that I've given to you, they're just examples of metrics. And I've started tracking certain metrics. You don't want to deviate from them too far, but I have most of the time added in extra metrics as I'm going along. So it does take a little while to figure out what that is. And then you just adapt, right? So be prepared to pivot your strategy. Don't pivot it always. Have those key milestones. I think you've heard me talk about from a strategic, it's usually those 90-day milestone reviews. That's when you collect all your data. What are you doing and what's working well? And that can help you pivot if you need to your strategy. You don't want to do it if you see your analytics all of a sudden drop in a day. I mean, it happens, right? You don't want to do those knee-jerk reactions, but you want to track them, analyze them, learn from them, and adapt and be prepared if you have to pivot that strategy. And that's all part of this planning piece, right? You can't manage what you don't measure. That statement, I have no idea who said that quote, but it's there. And that plan will help you make sure that you're aligning all your activities to roll them up to achieve your business goals. So, what's a marketing measurement plan? It is a strategic framework that outlines the key performance indicators, metrics, and methods a company will use to track and evaluate the success of its marketing efforts. It includes things like your goals. Where's your data going to come from? What tools are you going to use? All the things we just discussed. What kind of timelines? When are you going to evaluate them? Have a plan. And the other thing, which I don't think is included there, I would say is make sure that measurement plan is all documented together with your marketing plan. Make sure that your business goals, objectives, even bring them forward and implement them into the plan to keep it top of mind. And that is actually in one of the resources to remind you to put that in there, because you want to make sure it's there. So keep it all organized, keep that plan together, and this guidance spreadsheet should help you with that. So why have a plan? It ensures that your goals are aligned, right? That what you're doing is moving forward and reminding you while you're doing it. It's going to enable those data-driven decisions. When you start tracking them, now we can make decisions. You can't, and some of the stuff you can't go back too far. So please do track them. Like every month is what I usually recommend, is you go in and you do your tracking, because they may get lost. Um, I mean, nowadays it's much easier to get historical data, but I do recommend tracking them at least monthly. And why do we do it? Improves our accountability to ourselves and to other key stakeholders in our organization. It helps you optimize your budgets, which is huge. One of the most important things to make sure we know where we're spending. If your Google ads are not converting and they're not working, you have to change something. There's no sense in just throwing it out there. So please do make sure we track your metrics for that reason alone. And that return on investment, right? To make sure that our budgets are optimized and we're getting the return on investment that we want from our marketing. So what does the guide and plan look like? This is it. We're going to jump in to look at what it includes. It's going to talk about this measurement framework, how metrics, somewhat of what we talked about today. It's also going to talk about thinking beyond digital. And as much as we're in a digital first world, you have to think omni-channel. And we're going to talk about more about that in the future sessions. But where does print come in? How do you make sure we're tracking the right things and we're tracking it across all of them? Huge trend, huge opportunity. is retail, um, in-store purchases with social campaigns on top. So making sure we're tracking if that person's coming into the store and they're purchasing something, did they like that? Did they go like the whole customer journey? That's why it's really important whether you're in person or not. But just don't forget the in-person opportunities that are there. Media and influencers, how do we get them on board? How do we track metrics when that's within your campaign and your strategy? And then how do we adjust and all those wonderful things as well. So templates and resources are part of it. So that's the guide. Here's the dashboard. It talks about your overview. It's going to have a place to talk about track your content because it's input, output, and outcome. Input is what you're actually putting into it, or what kind of documents are you creating? How many of the documents? Output is about how many are going out. Did you publish all of them? Which ones did you publish? What's the quality of it? What's actually went out? Outcome is what's the result that you intended. Did people click on it? Did it bring it back? So you need to make sure that you do track that input piece and individual content, because content is so important to what we do for marketing. So there's a whole spreadsheet sheet on the content piece. There's a monthly planner and just duplicate it every month. And then there's the overview for every month so you can see it side by side. And it's all in a lovely Google Sheets that you guys can use and copy it for yourself. And don't get overwhelmed. There's a lot of terms out there. I have documented some of them to put it in one place. Lead generation, what does KPIs mean? What's a conversion PPC mean? Like there's a lot of terms. Anyways, I've started a glossary of terms that's in there as well that I will continue to update. So if you haven't had a chance, that's the QR code. Again, if you're a full member, it's in your member portal. So key takeaways. Tracking performance metrics helps measure your success. And we want to be successful. We want to know we're successful. Tracking metrics will help us. Tracking your performance will help us. Setting up a plan helps us focus on the metrics that matter, makes us accountable, helps us make sure we do stay focused on just getting the work done. Take an integrated approach. Please do understand it's not just marketing in a silo. Marketing, especially with sales and especially with customer experience, you may want to track all of those metrics in a single dashboard, or at least work with your sales team or your sales strategy and pull in what matters, because you do need to make sure all of those are aligned as well as other ones. Look at the whole picture over time and analyze the trends. As I mentioned, truth is in the trends and proof is in the patterns. I did not make that up. Someone else did. I just can't remember who it is, but it has stuck with me and it has reminded me to not get fixated on a single metric, but to look at it over time. Use tools and technologies to automate, visualize, and analyze data. Not only will it keep it central, but it will help you manage your time. And then remember always to learn, do, and adapt. So the next one in this series is building a measurement framework and how to actually use the template. And we will dive a little deeper into that next time.